business school. And I want to give you guys a quick stock market update, stock market report, let you guys know what's going on in the world. Say hello if you're in the chat. Let me know what city you're from. I always like to know what city you guys are coming from. So state your city and put your hashtag B1 in the chat to let me know that you are Black first. This is for the Black community. This is who we represent. And so our goal is to solve the Black wealth equation by helping you to figure out where the money is, how things work, and how you can get ahead economically. So I want everybody in here to get a chance to become a trillionaire. So that's our goal. So hey, Justin from St. Louis, good to see you, brother. I see you in there. All right, so let's get it started here. So the stock market took another dip today. Today is what is it? October 30th, the day before Halloween. And all my kids got me dressing up, but putting on crazy costumes and stuff like that. And I love Halloween, by the way. I'm kind of a big kid, I ain't gonna lie. But basically, you're seeing a pretty big drop today. It looks like the Dow, at the time that I started this video, it had dropped by 350 points. Now it's down to 450. So you're seeing what almost looks like a little bit of a meltdown, and it's getting a little bit ugly. But never fear. Dr. Boyce is here. I'll kind of break down what's really going on and what you might want to be concerned about. So first and foremost, all of this is related to we talked about the big three that's happening right now. And the big word is fear, right? Fear and uncertainty, which is uncertainty is the cousin of fear, right? We tend to fear the unknown. So there are a lot of unknowns and there are unknown unknowns as we kind of enter into this election cycle. So basically the big three is that you have this spike in cases, which is shutting down economies all around the world, right? Everybody's worried, not just that economies are shutting down, but they're wondering how much more is going to shut down. Europe actually shuts down even more than the United States does. And what's really interesting is that, ironically, the United States had stronger GDP growth than Europe because you had some people who said, we're not shutting down. I got to feed my kids, so we're going to keep going. But the downside of that is that you have to deal with the second wave and the increase in cases. And I think with the increase in cases, they're not so worried about the death toll because the virus actually, most of the people that catch the virus don't die. They're also not as worried about overwhelming the medical system, right? They've talked about it being overwhelmed, but from what I understand, it's not been overwhelmed yet. The big concern economically speaking has been what's going to happen, when everything shuts down, what's going to happen to the economy. Now you're asking, Lover, is this a good time to buy? I'm not going to tell you what to buy because this is not investment advice, but I'm buying everything I can get my hands on when it comes to strong companies. And so the big three right now that's driving the stock market to have this weird kind of situation is the increase in cases, the phantom stimulus negotiations that really weren't happening. They were just pretending to negotiate for a stimulus. They weren't actually going to do anything. I knew this. I told you guys this 10 days ago. I said, Pelosi, if I'm Nancy Pelosi, I'm not trying to make no deals with Trump because I told you politicians are selfish bastards and they don't care so much about getting money to you as much as they care about winning the election. But the benefit to politicians being selfish bastards is that they're a bunch of old rich people. And I told you that rich people invest in the stock market pretty heavily. So they're a bunch of old rich people who have money in their 401ks, and they're looking at the same stock market you're looking at, and they're saying, oh my God, Myrtle, we just lost $50,000 in our retirement account. What are we going to do? Well, they want to get a deal done. So I'm confident that after the election, maybe a couple months in, though not right away, the stimulus is coming. So, if you tell me that the money ain't never coming, like if somebody owes you a check and they're supposed to pay you Tuesday and they say, sorry, I can't give you the money Tuesday. I'm going to give it to you Saturday. Well, it's inconvenient, but that's very different from them saying that the check ain't coming, right? But so in this case, it's not a situation where the check ain't coming. The check is just delayed. So why do I talk about that? Well, because when that stimulus comes back, it's going to boost the market. If they pass the stimulus now, the decline that's occurring right now due to uncertainty would not be occurring right now, right? So you got those three things. One is the virus cases. Two, there is the stimulus package, the phantom stimulus negotiations. And then three, there's this thing called a presidential election. And this presidential election is a big mess. It's Jerry Springer on steroids. You know, if you want to see some old, funky white trash just kind of acting a damn fool and embarrassing themselves, all you got to do is look to the, competitor to the right is Mr. Donald Trump, a guy who has run the White House like an episode of Jerry Springer, who's about as ghetto as you can find. He's the white equivalent of ghetto. And he yells at people, screams at people on Twitter all day, tweeting all these crazy things, to world leaders or whatever. And then on the left, you got Joe Biden, the crime bill guy, whose son loved to roll through the hood, picking up chicks and crack pipes and making crazy business deals in other countries that could cause his father lots of problems. And we understand that, right? The ghetto nature of that, because a lot of us got people in our family that deal with drugs. So you're going to have a crazy election. Everybody's picking sides. Everybody's fighting. I personally, if you want to know where I stand as a black man, I don't believe black people really have much of a dog in that fight. I think that your fight is to build wealth for your family and to just know what it is so that you can position yourself to receive maximum economic benefit. That's what that's what I'm going to do. I'm not telling you what to do, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to jump on one side or the other. I'm just jumping on the side of black people saying, how do we bunker down and get what we need so that we can be successful? So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done that now yet, please hit the thumbs up button. And I should just show you guys this URL. We actually have custom-made financial workbooks for children and flashcards. One of the ways our community is going to get ahead is by training our children early on economics and wealth so that your child will have more wealth than the average white person, right? And some of your children are going to be millionaires. Some of your kids might even be billionaires. So we got to prepare now so that we can dominate in the year 2050, right? So 30 years from now, we want these children to become the mogul barons of the 21st century, and that requires good parenting. The same way my grandma got me started on financial literacy as a kid, I'd love for you to be that grandma or that grandfather or that parent that does that for your kids. So the URL is right there. It's financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. And also, of course, you can text the word Boyce to 31996. Text Boyce to 31996, and I'll send you text notifications whenever we do stuff in the Black Business School. So I mentioned that there are three big factors. So let's just recap real quick so you just kind of know what's going on. One is the virus. It's kind of interesting because it's kind of the same sort of factors every day, but they kind of wiggle a little bit. So there's the virus, and I'm looking for the day where the virus is no longer in the headlines. When it leaves the headlines, that's when you're going to see people get comfortable again and prices go up. I think the economy is not going to just drop dead. Like the idea of complete shutdowns in the United States is gone. People are just not going to do it. I'm just telling you, because I know people who are like, look, you know what? I got to feed my kids. There's a virus, but I got to feed my kids, right? And everybody, every parent in here can relate to that. So the U.S. economy ain't shutting down. Just know that, right? There's never going to be a day when we all just sit and chill and stay in the house like we did at the beginning of COVID, because people now understand COVID much, much better than they did before. Now, so the second factor, going back to the stimulus package. That's coming. I'm not worried about that. I think the question about the stimulus is how big is it going to be? The Republicans want a slim down bill. The Democrats want something big and gigantic, which I'm okay with either one. Slim has its benefits. Big and gigantic has some benefits if you're an investor. If they pull out a big, fat, gigantic, supersized, like making it rain like a rapper in a strip club type of stimulus package, guess who's going to benefit? You. Because you're going to be invested in the stock market and you're going to see those stocks. Doop, 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 doop. Rich people always find a way to get their money no matter what the economy does, no matter what the politicians do. You may not be rich, but you're behaving like rich people, which means eventually you're going to be rich, whether you like it or not. That third element, going back to, I keep on forgetting the third thing. The election uncertainty. I have no idea how that's going to go. That's kind of like an unknown because nobody knows who's really. I mean, I think Biden's going to win the election, right? Like everything in my being, the fiber of my being tells me that Biden's going to win the election. But then there's so much propaganda, you don't know who to believe. You know, everybody's saying something different. And I'm just, I mean, I told Alicia, I said, if Trump wins this election, that confirms that a bunch of the media is full of crap, because they've been talking about the election as if it's going to be a runaway hit for Joe Biden. Trump is struggling. He can't get anybody to endorse him, you know, except Lil Wayne, like, I mean, which is an endorsement I wouldn't want. I mean, I don't, you know, whatever, man. You know, but so I'm wondering how that's going to play out for him. So I think this election is going to be won by Biden, and then I think it's going to be contested by Trump, which is going to be interesting because he stacked the Supreme Court pretty good, like with a bunch of conservatives. 6-3 is conservative. So that makes me wonder how this is going to play out. And believe me, the whole time they're fighting, which is going to be months of drama, that's going to cause problems in the stock market. That's the one thing I worry about, is a contested presidential election, because the winner of the presidential election in the United States shifts global policy all around the world. Like there are hundreds of countries that are going to be watching the election to know what kind of president they're going to deal with. So that's going to be interesting to see. Now, the other thing in terms of specific corporate earnings, you know, if you go to the basics, the stock market is heavily driven by how much money these companies are actually making. Like if you're not making any money, then your stock price doesn't mean anything, right? So here's the deal. Apple, Google, and Amazon all reported their earnings. All of them did pretty well, except Apple. Apple had to drop in iPhone sales, which I thought was really interesting. But Google, my guy, Google blew it out the water. They didn't just blow it out the water in terms of earnings. Their stock price just blew it out the water as well. And now Amazon didn't do that. And I love Amazon. They're one of my favorite companies. So I bought some Amazon stock this morning. And I've seen people, though, also who love Google, because Google owns YouTube, which is a big revenue driver, big money maker. And their search display advertising system is pretty good. You know, it's like second to none. So, you know, those are some companies that I think probably have some gas in the tank. Like I kind of feel like when everything kind of clears up, I think Amazon will be one of the first ones to eat in terms of companies that are actually going to do well. So and it's just a stable company, a very stable business model. Most of the analysts are saying really good things about Amazon. So I'm a big fan of Amazon. Now, so there you go. So that if you want me to lay out a stock that I'm picking, a stock that I'm adding to my portfolio, I definitely would say Amazon, and I really like Google. Apple, I need to figure some things out. And also, I'm really curious to see how these antitrust hearings go, where the big tech giants all have to explain to Congress why they're making more money than Jesus. So anyway, that's my thought for today. If you want to know more about the stocks I pick, things like that, feel free to join the Black Stock Market Program, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. The first month is $1, and I have a section called What Dr. Boyce is Buying, where every week I lay out some stocks that I'm adding to my portfolio, but also there's a whole set of modules on all these things you can learn, in addition to literally hundreds of questions I've answered from students all throughout the years that I archive, so you can just watch those videos. And then also there's a private blog where students send me questions. So I think I can be the last finance teacher that you ever have. So feel free to go give it a try. The first month is just $1, and there's a 30-day 100% money back guarantee if you're unhappy for any reason. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Again, text the word Boyce to 31996 if you want to get notifications. And in addition to that, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button before you go. And you guys have a good day. I'll be giving you updates all day long on the Black Financial Channel. So feel free to pop back in and see what's going on there. And you can follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram also. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. See you soon. Bye-bye.